everybody, it's Alexa and welcome back to my channel. In my last story time, which was part 2 of my roommate from hell, I mentioned something about having a concussion my freshman year of high school and said that if you guys wanted to see a story time on how I got the concussion, to leave me a comment saying you wanted to hear it, and a ton of you said you did, so I figured I would do it. So this is going to be the story time of how I got my concussion. So let's just jump right in. During the summer of 2009, which was the summer between the end of my 8th grade year and the beginning of my freshman year of high school, my mom sat me down and said that I needed to participate in at least one extracurricular activity, whether it was a sport or a club. And since my high school had a girls volleyball team, I figured I would do that since it was something I had never done before and looked like a lot of fun. It's also one of those sports where you don't have to know how to previously play it, like field hockey or softball, so I went for it. I had also convinced a ton of my friends to join it with me. We had preseason for the last 2 weeks of August and then started school in September, and everything was fine. I was absolutely in love with the sport, and then it was time for the coaches to decide what teams we were on. My school had 3. We had something called DV, or first team, which was for people who weren't the best players but were learning. We also had, of course, JV and varsity. Since it was something I had never done before, I got onto the DV/first team, as well as most of my friends and most of the other freshmen, which I was totally fine with. The thing about the first team is that you don't get to go play in games. Instead, you go to tournaments on weekends and play a bunch of other schools. And personally, I thought first team was a lot better than JV and varsity because going to all these tournaments was such a great experience and was so much more fun than just going to a regular game. But for the practice schedule, the first team and JV team would practice together right after school at 2:30, and practice would be from 2:30 to 4, and then varsity would come in around 6. So one day at practice during the middle of September, we were doing a bunch of drills. We had to do things called grapevines. Some people refer to them as karaoke's, but it's basically where you run sideways and crisscross your feet. And we also had to do a ton of other line drills, whether it be running to the net and then running from the net, lunges, and stuff like that. And then for the last drill, we had to run backwards to the net, and then from the net, run backwards again to the serving line. And this is where things went downhill pretty fast. So I'm running backwards, and for those of you who don't know, volleyball shoes are a normal sneaker, but they are a certain rubber. You can't wear them outside, you can only wear them on the court. And on the back of these shoes, like say this is the heel of the shoe, right here there is a piece of rubber that comes up and kind of like pokes out off the heel. Well, that piece of rubber got caught on the gym floor and I fell backwards, and it was all over from there. And when I fell, everyone heard this huge smacking noise as if my hands had smacked a table or smacked against the floor. However, it wasn't my hands because my head was the first thing to hit the gym floor. But after falling and hitting my head, I didn't think anything of it. I jumped right back up and continued doing the drills. My coaches came over and asked me if I was okay. I said yes. They asked what happened. I told them. They said that I should probably go and see the trainer and get some ice for my head, and I honestly didn't think I needed to. I felt absolutely fine. So I continued to participate. About 10 minutes later, I started feeling it. My head started hurting. I was so nauseous, and that's when I knew that there was definitely something wrong. So I went and I saw the trainer. I got some ice. I laid down and I called my mom, and I had to explain to my mom what had happened, and I also told her that she needed to please come pick me up. So she did, and at my high school, they took concussions very seriously. So before starting any sport, you have to go to the library and sit on the computer and take what is called a concussion test. They use that as a baseline to compare with any of your future concussion tests. So that night, my mom had called the doctor. They were not able to see me. However, they did tell my mom to keep a close eye on me, to wake me up every couple hours in the middle of the night to make sure I can respond and stuff like that. And the next day, I went to school and had to go to the nurse's office for first period to retake my concussion test. So that is exactly what I did. And afterwards, I got the results, and the school nurse said that I 100% definitely had a concussion. I was then sent to a specialist who looked at everything and checked everything out, and he also said that I 100% had a concussion and had a pretty bad one. That was a bummer because I ended up having a concussion concussion for 4 months, and during those 4 months, I was not allowed to go to school full time. I was only allowed to go for a couple periods in the morning or a couple periods in the afternoon, and I was also not able to play volleyball anymore. And I actually didn't get to play for the entire rest of the season. And what's really a bummer is that ever since my concussion, I don't sleep through the night. I have a harder time concentrating. Some of the easiest tasks take me so much longer to do, and I have had to go to a specialist to have certain tests done that show that my concussion definitely affected how my brain works. So my advice to any of you guys who play sports is to really be careful and try to avoid getting concussions because they suck and they can affect you for the rest of your life. So that is the story of how I got a concussion playing volleyball during my freshman year of high school. If any of you guys have had concussions, let me know in the comments down below and let me know how you got it. Also, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you guys think I should do more story times, and let's see if we can get this video to 150 likes. While you guys are down there, be sure to hit that subscribe button to be notified every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when I upload new videos. To keep up with me off camera, be sure to go add me on Snapchat. My Snapchat is just alexas.life, and I upload pictures of food, things I'm doing, and stuff like that. Another good way to keep up with me off camera is to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, both of which are just alexas__life. And again, I post pictures of food, things I'm doing, and stuff like that. I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys!